I had taken a trip to Washington approximately 3 weeks ago to help a sick friend. Anyway, I was there for 3 weeks, and then when I came back, my wife had told me that she had seen something over at the old Hurst mill. And I asked her, of course, what, and she said there were some military vehicles that had set up some equipment there at the old mill. Well, the reason she knew this is her mother lives adjoining property to the old mill. So anyway, I kind of took that with a grain of salt when I was over there. And when I came back, I went over there, and of course my horses are there, so I was messing around with them. And I heard a chopper coming in, which I thought was the alert. And I looked up, and it was a Blackhawk coming and landing right in the Hurst property, which I thought was kind of strange, you know. And so I started asking some questions, and I come up with this answer that they were there because of some light planes coming in across the border that weren't identifying themselves. And they were concerned that there was a drug problem coming through. Well, the question that comes to my mind is, why do you need a Blackhawk to run down a Cessna? I mean, it's a little bit overkill, but so I started paying more attention. Now, I've spotted these Blackhawks 5 times total. Now, I know for a fact that 2 of them, there's 2 separate Blackhawks, so it could be the 2 that I've seen a multiple of 5 times, or a number of 5 times. But my question is why do you need that kind of firepower, even for maneuvers? So, and then I called Paul, it was the day before yesterday, and I was just kind of looking over the lake and out there daydreaming. And I looked over Kasanka, and now I can't swear to this, but I thought it was an F-22 that flew on the back side of Kasanka, and it was going pretty fast, so it could have been anything, but it wasn't jet, it was military. I couldn't get any kind of insignia off of it, so that's what it was. Now, I'm not saying that that's anything rare, but the fact that it was going from south to north, and it was right in that same general vicinity. You know, I was just curious about why they had that kind of a...
What did you notice for armaments on these Blackhawks?
Blackhawks had 50 millimeter on them, and then maybe a 30. I wasn't too sure because I couldn't see the pods real close. But my military background is I've got 17 years in the Marine Corps. So I do know what I'm talking about when I tell you it was a 50. And they were mounted as river gunships would be mounted. So I'm just kind of curious why, even on maneuvers, why they need that kind of firepower. And that's basically all I've seen so far. But it's the fact that if they're doing something, we need to know about it. I mean, even if it's bullshit, I mean, tell us. I mean, something. But as far as it is right now, I haven't heard anything, except, of course, the typical rumors.
Paul, I have a question.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Olson, did I understand you to say that they were landing?
Yeah, the only one I did see was landing. It was about, I'm going to say between 6 and 6:30 that evening. It was on the far side of the Hurst property, right there where they've taken out some of the equipment right there.
So it was on Hurst property?
Yeah, it was on the old mill. I don't know who owns it now.
That's Hurst.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think we've got somebody else in this room that's seen those Blackhawks. Joe, do you want to tell them what you saw?
Out there by the Kootenai, every now and then we do hear helicopters. We hear them more than we see them, but every now and then we do see military helicopters flying around up there. We also see military C-130s. They're big cargo planes, and they fly very low, and they make everything vibrate around your house, windows, everything. And we had one just last week do that and just come over. Like about maybe 200 feet in the air.
Treetop level for,
yeah,
for a C-130.
And he's doing these rocks back and forth, and then he came over the lake and he followed the lake going south, going towards the
reservoir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Bobbin, could you tell the people what has transpired between you and the FBI and the inquiries you made about this military activity? This is our State Senator, Alvin Curtis, if you don't know him.
Hi, everybody. I think it's been about 3 weeks ago that I had the first report of some Humvees with some kind of radar installations on the top up north of Eureka. And immediately I thought, well, probably the National Guard is on some kind of exercise. So I called the Guard, and I received word back from them that they had a training exercise in the other end of the county, but nothing on this end of the county. So for me to be able to investigate or get any answers, I need some specifics. I need some pictures. I need signed statements by people like Mr. Olson and Mr. Walsh, which state the time and exactly what they saw. Because if I say, well, I heard this and I heard that, that's what it is. It's hearsay. So I'm really glad for this opportunity to hear from the people who have experienced this. Now, one thing I wanted to establish was Mr. Walsh had a couple of different sightings, one on the 13th and one on the 27th. Where exactly, now the second one was on Burma Road. Where was it first?
Stenderson, I'm not sure the road number, off of 37. You have over Stenderson, 10 mile up in there. Paul, maybe you're familiar more with the road.
I'll help Pete to sit down and write this. I'll do the typing, and he can dictate, and we'll put up a written statement on this with the dates and the places and everything you need.
That'll be great.
And
Then Paul and Ginny shared with me also hearing from people who had these other sightings, and so I called a source that I have and said, hey, what's going on? And he contacted the FBI for me. Then I did get a call back from the Helena FBI office, and they said that they presumed that whatever we saw up on this side of the mountains along the border was probably connected with that exercise they had, what was it, a week or so ago,
Right.
over at Sweetgrass, where they had a simulated disaster happening, and I guess probably a training session. But it seems, also I need to clarify too, some people saw black vehicles and some saw white vehicles.
There were both.
So I rather assume that if they were white unmarked vehicles, they presumably were with the Northern Command and connected with Homeland Security rather than National Guard. But I really believe that the Montana National Guard has had nothing to do with any of these incidents.
So you think that it was federal agents mostly? That's something.
We can continue to ask questions.
Thank you.